Good morning. I'm very excited to be here today. I love this material. And today we have our light to remember that Jesus is the light of the world. And we are going to learn about the city of Jerusalem. If you remember, not too long ago, we had a map of the country of Israel where we had the city of Nazareth, where Mary lived and where Jesus grew up. That's why he's called the Nazarene. And we had Bethlehem, where he was born. And we have the city of Jerusalem. The city of Jerusalem is really important because the major events that happened in Jesus's public life happened in Jerusalem, especially the ones at the end of his life. The last week of his life, he spent in the city of Jerusalem. And you have a map if you want to follow what I'm trying to say. Your map has the names. The light is a little funky here. It has two rivers, it has streets, and it's full of houses. This is a very simple map for us to understand just a little bit of the city. But I'm going to find a picture for you of the city itself. This is how it looked like in the time of Jesus. But it doesn't look very different these days. The walls are still there. The walls are still the same. There are very tall walls. They are like 6-story tall. It is for protection. It was always for protection. There's a lot of war going on still these days, and walls have the purpose of protection. And what I want to talk about today with chapter 2, it's not only the walls but the doors. There are doors all around the walls. There are very tiny doors. There are doors where animals can go through. Little animals, yes, but not horses, not camels, not any big animal cannot go through there. But there are main doors, which happen to be these ones by the temple, that open, that are big and that open all day long. But at sunset, they close to protect the city. And only people that lived there and that knew the gatekeepers could go in through the little doors at night. We have the temple. The temple is built in a hill, or was built in a hill. It was built 3 times, actually. It has a big space where everybody can go. Children, women, merchants, animals. There is a special place where only, that part is called an atrium. Then there is a part where men could go for prayer. And then there is a part, it's called the Holy of Holies. It's a special place where only the priests could go to offer sacrifice and to pray for the people. That's where they kept the ark. Now let's talk about chapter 2. The ark. The ark was this big box where the 10 commandments were kept. And that was called the covenant that God made with Moses to always protect his people. And this was a special event when King David was king, and he wanted the ark to be in the temple, in the Holy of Holies. So there was a big procession, which is a special walk with singing and dancing and people, like a parade. There you go. It was like a parade. It's a procession. And the ark was brought to the Holy of Holies in the temple. The this is a very important event, and it's chapter 2 in our book about the Eucharist, because this is similar of what happens every Sunday when we gather for Mass. We gather, we prepare, we get there, we dress up, and we prepare our hearts as well, being in silence. We sit, and then the priest processes from the back of the church and walks all the way to the altar. Usually, or hopefully, that will happen again, with 2 altar servers carrying candles, and with 2 other altar servers, one carrying the cross and one carrying the book, the lectionary or the Roman Missal. I'm actually not sure which of the 2 books they carry. I guess it's the Roman Missal. And it's brought to the Holy of Holies. But there is another important thing to remember when we are gathered and we watch this procession. There's always music, there's always singing, and great joy, because we gathered to worship together to God, to listen to His word. There's another important coming into the city, and that's in Palm Sunday. We're going to learn more about that, and we're going to see more details about the city. But there was a huge procession when Jesus came into the city the last few days of his life. People were waiting for him. People had palms going on. People put their cloaks on the ground for him to stand in the cloaks and not on dirt. People knew that Jesus was the Son of God, and people knew he was different and he was special. And that's a procession, and that's what we remember on Sundays when we gather for Mass. Just to finish, I'm going to give you a little tour for this around the city, and then I'm going to send pictures for you to see it from the top. But okay, this is the main door. Here is the Garden of Olives. Here is where Jesus prays for the last time. Here is the temple, which is usually higher up. It's high in a hill. I have a picture. I will show it to you. This is the Tower of Antonia. This is King Herod's palace. We have 2 pools. They look like swimming pools, but they weren't quite like that. But they were pools where people would bathe and heal from illnesses. This part of the city is elevated, so there are stairs to go up, and there are 2 buildings that are really important for us. The Cenacle, where the Last Supper will happen, and where Pentecost happened. We learned about Pentecost last week because that's the beginning of our church, and we belong to that church. That was chapter 1. I hope you remember. And this is the house of Caiaphas. Caiaphas lived in the upper city, and Caiaphas was the high priest. Going out through the doors over here, we have the Calvary, which is another small hill or a big hill, or it's like a hill. It's called the Calvary, that walk to all the way up, and that's where they used to crucify criminals. That's where they crucified Jesus. And right there also is the tomb of the resurrection, where Jesus was placed after he died. And that, in a nutshell, is the city of Israel. And that's where, that's what we remember at the beginning of Mass, when the ark was brought into the temple and when Jesus entered the city for the last time.